Did Jimmy G get too much blame for that Super Bowl loss, Stephen A?
Hell no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Not too much blame at all. It was right on target. And Mr. Chippendales, I want you to hear where I'm coming from. I want you to understand what I'm trying to break down to you,
you're
okay?
wrong already, so it don't matter. You're wrong already, so it don't matter. I'm just waiting for you to finish.
But well, here's the deal. I appreciate it, and I'll lean back, and I'll take the education that you provide if and when it's warranted. Here's my deal. Jimmy G didn't even throw for 100 yards in an NFC Championship game. Jimmy G threw for about 208 yards in 2 playoff games combined. You combine that with the fact that in the Super Bowl, you have a 10-point lead and you can't stop the bleeding. I'll defer to Emmanuel Sanders and George Kittle when they both came on this show, and thank them both for coming on the show, by the way, and they said, listen, it's not all Jimmy G. There's more to football than that. And again, they know the game. They're playing the game. I would never insult anybody. Louis Riddick, whether it was as a player or as an executive or those players that are playing on the field. Of course, y'all know more than me. All I'm saying is this. At the end of the day, I'm looking at you, Patrick Mahomes. That stud is going to come. This defense spent the better part of 3 quarters holding this man to 10 points. And somehow, some way, you couldn't stop the bleeding because you couldn't put any extra points on the board. Obviously, there were a couple of plays that Kyle Shanahan called. One was a missed throw to Kittle on the part, or Sanders actually, on the part of Jimmy Garoppolo. The other might have been some play calling issues with Kyle Shanahan, who's now been outscored in the 4th quarter 40-0. Play call in Atlanta, and then obviously being in San Francisco as the head coach. He's your play caller, 40-0 in the 4th quarter. That's something to consider, so I'll give him equal blame. But all I'm going to say is this. If Jimmy Garoppolo was that dude, somehow, some way, you could have stopped the bleeding. And I've said this religiously. Max will tell you this. You can get to several layers before you even think about Jimmy G. You could go to the secondary led by Richard Sherman. You could go to the defensive line led by Nick Bosa. You could go to the tight end spot with Kittle. You can look at your receivers. You can look at the play calling of Kyle Shanahan. When it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, you think about all those things before you think about Jimmy Garoppolo. But he's your $137.5 million man with $72 million guaranteed, which, by the way, is a decent contract, and he deserves that. But I'm just saying, when I look at him, is he good? Sure. Is he that dude? No, I don't believe that as of yet. And when I look at the fact that they had a 10-point lead, I view him equally responsible to Kyle Shanahan for not being able to close the deal.
Jimmy Garoppolo missed the pass to Emmanuel Sanders. He should have hit him. Garoppolo has weaknesses like all players do, and his, I think, primarily is that he's not accurate down the field. If that ticked up a bit, he would, instead of being a bubble top 10 quarterback, you'd maybe start challenging for the top 5 because he makes his reads very quickly. He gets rid of the ball extremely quickly. His teammates really like him. He's great under pressure right up until the Super Bowl and throughout most of it. When they needed him most, he was leading the world in 3rd down conversions, especially in the second half of the season and 4th quarter and all kinds of pressure stats, right? Let's not forget, he had a 10-point lead in the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl. Doesn't happen for bad quarterbacks. Now, you want to say it's his fault because he missed the pass to Emmanuel Sanders, which is a pass he really needed to make. Okay, it's a zero-sum game. Either you're a hero or a GOAT. But what was on the other side of the ball? Patrick Mahomes, and I read this the last time we did the subject on Garoppolo and Mahomes, so I'll just refer to it now. ESPN Stats and Info tweeted it out, brother. During the second half, I think in the 4th quarter, okay, Mahomes has had this many comebacks in these playoffs so far by this many points. That's already a record. Let's see if he could do it again. And he did it again because Mahomes is from the planet Krypton. Jimmy Garoppolo is not Patrick Mahomes. Nobody is Patrick Mahomes. Maybe there's never been a Patrick Mahomes. And that's what it took to come back against Jimmy G, a Jimmy G-led team in the 4th quarter of a Super Bowl, and all of a sudden it's Jimmy G's fault? Let me tell you what else. Okay, if that's Jimmy G's fault, the 10-point lead in the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl is also Jimmy G's fault.
I'll get back to that. Go ahead, Lewis. I'll get back to that. Go ahead, Lewis.
I'm not quite. You know what's funny? Both of you keep saying Jimmy G had a 10-point lead, 20-10. In the fourth quarter. Jimmy G had this lead as if Jimmy G was playing offense, defense, special teams, running the football. He was doing everything, and Jimmy G lost it. Let me tell you this. It was 20-10. There were 6 minutes and 51 seconds left in that game. Jimmy G at this point, well, through 3 quarters, he had been 17 of 21, a touchdown and an interception. They had played a balanced football game. They were on their way. Jimmy G was on his way to being the MVP. 6 minutes, 51 seconds left in this game. It's 3rd and 15. 3rd and 15 for the Chiefs. To this point, Pat had been struggling. Joey Bosa had been giving him nightmares. They call a play that takes all day long to develop, the big play to Tyreek Hill. Pat Mahomes takes a 13.5-yard drop, and Joey misses him. And Pat hits a play against a secondary that doesn't show up and make the play. They play the play wrong. There's another 3rd and 10. Pass interference, Travis Kelce going down the field on 3rd and 10. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, San Francisco doesn't get off the field. 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 15. Richard Sherman, one of their best players, a guy who I respect immensely. He's one of the best cornerbacks to ever play in this league. Gets smoked off the line of scrimmage by Sammy Watkins. They start giving up big play after big play after big play and can't get off the field on 3rd down in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, when Pat absolutely goes berserk. Now, I will give you this. In the drives in the fourth quarter, Jimmy didn't step up. Jimmy didn't make some of the throws he needed to make, and they had the perfect play call to Emmanuel Sanders on the 3rd and 10 that he missed him. And he should have hit him. He should have hit him. There's no question about it. But this team was constructed in this way. This team was constructed in a complementary way. This team wasn't constructed in the sense of Jimmy G is going to be the guy who, when it's all said and done, that's who we call on.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.